Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. So I always have to check because I'm so not tech savvy. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in the comments. Let me know because if you can't, something is unplugged. Because I had all my stuff unplugged and I had to plug it back up. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So good morning, you guys. Let me tell you, I almost canceled the coffee and chat this morning because I had a bad yesterday. And I didn't have a bad this morning, right? But my bad yesterday was carrying over to this morning. And I had like a busy last 2 weeks, like just like draining kind of busy, draining, like last really 3 weeks. And you know how you give everyone else all the right things to do. You give them the tools, the techniques. You tell them to apply this for emotional wellness, how to navigate their lives through different like obstacles or what have you. And then you have your own like crisis and you don't want to use the tools. You don't want to follow the rules that you know are going to work. You just kind of want to just be irritated and upset. Okay, so that's how I felt. That's how I was feeling the last 3 weeks. But every day I was like, waking up trying to have a positive attitude. And then something else would happen. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? I, was, spending time in prayer, and just trying to like be positive. So like I knew what this topic was gonna be as of I think maybe last Wednesday or Thursday. And every time I went to go, I like to like read a little bit or just even have some good quality prayer time or whatever the coffee and chat topic is going to be for the month. But every time I got ready to sit down and say, okay, let me just make a little outline. Let me just pray about it. It was just like I could not like connect. I just could not connect for some reason. And so then yesterday, after my bad day, I said, "Ugh, I should just cancel the coffee and chat. Just cancel the coffee and chat." But then I was like, no, you can't cancel the coffee and chat. You have to get up and do what you're committed to do. So that is why I am on this morning. Hey, Trina. Susie Q. My mom is on this morning. Y'all, my mom don't ever get on for coffee and chats. I think she was on for one other one. So my mom is on, my sister is on, my sister-in-law, not my sister, my sister-in-law, who was also my sister, D is on. So thank you guys for showing up this morning. First, before I start talking about motivation, let me just share this little tidbit with y'all. I wore this shirt so I could just talk about it, right? So I got this. You glad I'm here? I'm glad you're here too, girl. I got this shirt right because I ordered it online, and it came like I don't know. I ordered it came quick, so it was like maybe 3 weeks ago. And so last weekend, I finally opened the pack with the two t-shirts I ordered. So I thought it says introverted but willing to discuss plants. Now, anybody who knows me know I don't like plants. I do not like plants. This plant right here is fake, y'all. I don't have a green thumb. I, try to put some little flowers out in my front yard, for the spring, summer, just because curb appeal. But do I like to do it? No. I could care less either way about plants or flowers. But my point is, I thought the shirt said introverted but willing to discuss plans. Like, okay, I'll discuss some plans, but it don't mean I really want to do it. It don't mean I'm committed. It don't mean I'm going to show up. So I got the shirt right, and I'm thinking that's what it says. And I kept looking at it, and then so I told my youngest daughter, who still lives at home, I said maybe if I get a black marker and cross out T, and then it'll be plans. But she said no, don't do that. So now people gonna think I like plants, and I don't. Just plants, just plans. So anyway, that's my little tidbit. Y'all got y'all coffee this morning. Hi, Dr. Lolita. Thank you for getting on. Good morning. So y'all got your coffee. Um, Reading is fundamental. But that's why we have to pay attention. And I'm very bad at paying attention to all the details. Like, when you're younger, like in your 20s and 30s, because you're just trying to get it right. You're really trying to get it right. So you're very detail oriented. At least I was in my 20s and 30s, very detail oriented. Now I want to be detail oriented, but I'm not. Like, I gloss over a lot of things, which of course it's not good. Like, you don't want to stress over things and be like so tedious that it becomes cumbersome or that you can't relax in anything you do. But you also don't want to buy shirts that say something that you never meant for it to say. So yes, reading is fundamental, not glancing and glossing. I just assumed in my mind an introvert would find it funny to discuss plans. So whoever the shirt is by a company called Lazy Dog. So I'm gonna email them and be like, get with the program. Like, come on, introvert don't want to talk about plants. They want to talk about plants they're not gonna show up to. Water is your tea. Okay, well, coffee is my tea with 3 shots. There we go. So let me tell you guys, I decided to talk about motivation this month because this is the time of year where everybody is like they're motivated, whether it's motivated to y'all know we want to lose some weight in summer, we want to tone up, we want to be right with all the vacations. But Tommy none of us really do it. We don't. They always say like the summer bodies are made in the winter, but y'all know we don't do it in the winter either. My sister-in-law makes like bomb cakes all year round, so we ain't never gonna lose no weight. So I done gave up on that dream. I did 2 weeks. I was gonna do all of March, no sugar. First 2 weeks went off without a hitch. The day before my oldest daughter is having a baby, so the day before her baby shower, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna treat myself to a frozen coffee from Chick-fil-A." Okay, just I hadn't had any sugar 2 weeks straight. Then at the baby shower, I said, "Oh, I'm just gonna get a little sliver of my sister-in-law cake," but then I ate 2 pieces, right? And then the next day, I called my daughter. I said, "Do you guys have some more cake left?" I was like, "Can y'all bring me a piece?" So, and she brought me two, and I ate them both. Okay, so anyway, motivation. So really, motivation is like our motive. Like, it's why we're doing what we're doing. Like, what is making you want to do something? And I thought about it because a lot of times in the spring and the summer, people put like, they have retreats or they have conferences, whether it's like a motivational conference. And don't, okay, let me preface this by saying I am not against like motivational speaking or motivational conferences. I'm only really against those if they're technically motivation, but they're trying to pass themselves off as being biblically motivated. That's my only gripe with that. I'm definitely not against like leadership conferences, especially if you're an entrepreneur or even if you work for a company and they're putting on conferences and you're wanting to go take part so that you can learn and grow within your industry or within that company. I am all about, the I guess the essence of it. But what tends to really happen in real life? Say for instance, you go to a motivational conference because you want to change your life. Something in the title when they were advertising the retreat or they were advertising the conference, you was like, that's me. I'm going. I'm gonna go to this 3-day conference and I don't want to like mention anybody's names, but y'all know the big gurus, the big like motivational gurus. And I never want to make anyone think like I'm downplaying what they've done in their life. So I won't mention any names, but you guys know, y'all know them. So the hims and the hers. So the thing about it is, and even when you go to church conferences, which they don't really have them like they did in the 80s and 90s, y'all know we've been to conferences, you will go to said conference and the conferences are meant to create an energy. They create this like excitement and the person is on the stage, whether it's a preacher, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a motivational speaker at a leadership conference, whether they're like laying out something for you to do to get to the next, that's the thing, get to the next level. You got to get to the next level in your life. And so you get caught up in the atmosphere and you have other like-minded people who are there too because they want the same thing. That's why they're there. They're like, yes, when they saw something, they may have seen something different than you, but they still saw something that tugged at their emotions that made them say, I got to be there. And then they spent X amount of dollars, usually thousands, X amount of dollars to show up so that they can get something to take back with them to make said change. So the person is up there and they're hitting all the pain points. And the cadence of their voice is just the right tone to like pull you in and kind of suck you into the message so that you can resonate with the message and realize, yes, that is me. He or she is talking about me. But everybody there, they're talking about everybody there. It's just whatever drew you to the conference. Whatever drew her or him to the conference might be a little different, but it was still something that was like a pain point for them that made them say, oh, I think this person might actually have the answer. And so we go for the answer. And then, like, if we went with friends or whatever, we like, yeah, girl, when we get back home, oh, it's gonna be on. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Oh, and they might even give you like some pointers how you can get to the next level. But what I don't like about the motivational mindset is that it's really not about being motivated because you can be motivated all day long. But if you haven't made a decision to change the thing that you're wanting to do differently, it could be big or small. I don't care what it is, whether you're saying, I feel stuck in my current role at work. I really want to move into something different. I don't know. I want to go back to school, do something totally different. I want to declutter my house. I want to, if you have a bad habit, like if you overeat or if you smoke or, so you're like, I want to change this. I want to start walking every day. I'm getting older. I want my heart to stay healthy. You can be motivated to do those things in your mind. But unless you make a decision to action it, it's just motivation. And so that's why I was like, okay, motivation. Do you really need to be motivated or do you just need to make a decision? And for me, I feel like you need to just make a decision because I'm telling you, I used to go to conferences like all the time, like back in the 90s, and I would be feeling all good. And then I would get back home and be like, oh, this is my reality. That atmosphere at the conference, if you could bottle it up maybe and put it in your pocket and bring it home and then just take it out, boom, and set it on the counter, then you would probably be doing something. But because you can't, you don't bring the people with you. You buy the book while you're there because a lot of times they have books. You get the T-shirt, and nowadays on social media, like you can follow them on social media, get you a quick hit. Like you get on YouTube or Instagram, LinkedIn, and whoever the person was, they might have a word for the day or something, and you feeling it. You like yes, yes, yes. Then you turn them off, and you get right back to doing what you was doing, and you be like, nah, not today, maybe tomorrow until you make a decision. Today is the day that I'm going to make the change. And then after you make the decision, then you have to make, well, y'all know I like to call them roadmaps. Totally agree. Yes, yes, Dr. Lolita, you have to then make a roadmap. Like, okay, I want to make the change now. How is it possible? What are the steps that I need to take to make the change possible? So for me, like I have to do small, like little actionable steps and like accomplish one thing. So I feel like, oh, I got this. I can do it. For me, and I think it's probably true for many, if you take too big of a challenge on and you fail, then you usually just give up. And then you might come back to it next year. But if you take small little actionable steps and you're like, okay, I set this out to do in 7 different practices and now I finished one. I got past this first hurdle. Then you feel like almost like empowered to be like, okay, this is really doable. Let me try the next thing. And then before you know it, you keep going and you've actually made the transition or the change that you were looking to make. So I'm gonna get in the comments with y'all. Let me ask you guys, how many of you have gone to a conference, felt like you could conquer the world when you left? And be honest, y'all, be honest. But then when you got home, you may have even been motivated for day one or day two. You may have even bought the book, said book, and started reading and be like, yes, I can resonate with everything this person is saying. They totally understand me. They totally get it. Then you get to the end of the book, you close the book, and nothing in your life changes. Nothing. How many of y'all, the motivational mindset needs to have a strategy for the transformational change? Exactly. Exactly. You have to have a plan. Strategy is the fancy word, but you got to have a plan, or nothing is going to change. Come on, y'all, get in the comments and tell me what's up. Y'all better tell me what's up. Okay. All right, y'all act like y'all ain't never been to no conference and was all motivated and then got home and sucked. Just me. Just me. I wish my I wish my friend Nanette she was on here because we was the 90s church guru conference go tours. Like we was going to a conference, y'all. We was going. That's me. My name is Ray. Thank you for one honest person up here. Thank you. So my point is that, and this might be a quick one today, y'all, because it's only 10:15. My point is that I want us to get past the motivation, the feel good moment, because feel good is just an emotion. It's just an emotion, and you guys know I'm all about having proper and healthy emotions. Emotions are great when they are in check, and I feel like a lot of times when we get motivated, it's just an emotional high, and any kind of emotion can change depending on the situation. So if the situation where you're at calls for high level, just like high energy, just like yes, we could do it, yes, because you're saying it like 25 times, like probably in 2 hours, yes, and then like they're asking you questions and they're throwing them at you, and you're like yes, because you're not gonna say no. Like you're in a room with all these other people who are like yes, and even if you're not feeling it, you're not gonna be like, no, I don't think I can. You're gonna be like, yeah, I can, right? Even if you know you can't. Not a conference, but a master class. But a master. I ain't gonna talk about master classes, y'all. I ain't gonna talk about master classes. Mm. But Susan, since you said that, this is what, and this is this is one thing from our own experience. Sorry, when we're talking about motivation, but the root word being motive, you guys know I talk a lot about our motive behind what we do. So Susan and I were having this conversation, and she's gonna remember this maybe probably 2.5 years ago, right? Because we grow into the women, and I say women because it's only women on here, that, God has destined us to be, right? But everybody's walk looks different. And even if we've been churched or we have, been walking with the Lord for, periods of time, it doesn't make us perfect by all means, and it doesn't mean that we have all the answers and we have it all together, and that we can't still be tricked up by the enemy and his devices. So I had got myself into this nonsense situation. It wasn't a master class. However, it was a program that cost a lot of money. And what the things that the woman who was over the program was saying, like I kind of identified with it and it resonated with me. And then she brought this gentleman on and he's very well known. I'm not gonna say who he is. And he uses a lot of biblical jargon to kind of promote this, really, I would call it this thing about being about self, when me as a believer, I can't be about self. I have to be about the agenda of the Lord. So it was like, it was tempting. Like, I guess that would be the best word. But what me and my friend Susan were talking about is like, it had to be something in me, something already in me that was drawn to that, right? It was something about what they were saying that I was drawn to. So once I got into the program and I realized what it was, and I was like only a month in. This was a 12-month program, y'all. I was only a month in when I realized, oh, the God you talking about serving, we can't be serving the same God, because ain't none of that biblical, what you talking about. And so the lady wouldn't give me my money back, y'all. And I'm not going to even tell you how much money it was because it's so embarrassing. But I learned from that, and what I took away from that was for me to be attracted to what she was offering, it had to be something in me already. So I had to go to the Lord and say, God, what is in me that would even attract to something like that, that was so really not in line with where I am in my, well, it might have been in line with where I was in my walk, but not where I wanted to be or not where I thought I was, because I was definitely lured in and tricked in a way, because I have to take responsibility for me, like, being like, yeah, let's do this. Let me partner with you. You said preach, right, right, right. So when I come on, you guys, I'm always trying to be transparent, um, because none of us have it together, none of us. And I really believe that if we can just be honest in our successes as well as our failures, then we can learn from one another. Um, that I mean, I think that's the whole thing about coffee and chat. I never wanted to feel like I'm like, well, I ain't preaching because I ain't no preacher, but like just telling y'all stuff, telling y'all stuff, telling y'all stuff. Like usually anytime I'm sharing something, it's because it's a lived experience for me. And I'm hoping that, someone who listens, even if it's on the replay, can benefit from it. But I love when you guys come on live, because then we can kind of engage and you guys can throw things at me and I can know like, hey, I'm on the right track. You said those church folk conferences were great. They were, because it was a feeling. What a feeling. Flash dance ain't church. Okay. You love these. Thank. Wait. Let me highlight that. I love these chats. Okay, good. Because sometimes I'll be like, should I keep doing these? And then once we get on, I'll be like, yes, okay, yes, I should. So getting back to motive. And Susan, do you remember? I know you remember that, right? Like, you pointing out and us talking about it had to be something already in me that was even being attracted to want to like get with these people. And then you guys, not to talk down about this person, anything like that, because I'm sure, like, to a certain extent, she is like a lovely person, for where she is in her walk. It just didn't align with where I am and where I was trying to go in my walk and what I want to be known for. I really want to be known for, when I'm working with women and when I'm helping women, I definitely, because this is who I am. I can't separate me from the Bible. I can't separate me from my walk. So anytime I'm even working with women, or me and my husband are like doing any type of counseling with younger married couples, everything I say is got to be biblical, because if it don't align with the word, then God is not going to be pleased with me. So even if the world is pleased, if I could get up on a stage and motivate and, give people all these things they could do to change their life, and I don't really share the biblical aspect, or if what I'm sharing is in opposition to the word, then I don't care if 10,000 people praise my name and love me, if God is like, nah, I ain't nowhere in that. So you go on over there on your own, take your little money you making and do whatever you gonna do. But I ain't anointed none of that. I didn't want you to be part of none of that. So that's what that's what I have to answer to him. Let me see. I'm trying to Susan said, y'all don't got my glasses on. God was showing us ourselves. There are things inside us that only the Holy Spirit can see. Right, right. Because I didn't even know, like, man, Susan, yeah, Dr. Lily says so true, Susan. Yes, because I didn't even recognize it. So even though I felt like I wasted all that money because I couldn't get back, after that month, I didn't partake in nothing else. Like, I prepaid, like, to participate in retreat, like 3 retreats, prepaid 3 retreats, and then all these weekly meetings and all this stuff, which half of them y'all, which she wouldn't even show up to. She was send a representative. Okay, we ain't gonna even get on that. Okay, and like for live coaching calls, every Monday night. And it only took me like 4 Monday nights, 4 like calls, and then getting ready to prep to go to this first retreat, all this stuff that was coming out. And I was like, what? And her thing, she kept saying, I'm a God girl. I'm a God girl. So what I learned though is that it didn't matter how much money I spent, because it showed me something about myself. that God probably wanted to show me. And that's probably the only way I was gonna see it. He had to make me, oh, I forgot to turn my phone off, you guys. Sorry. He had to make me do it that way so it could really be effective. So now I'm like, oh, I don't ever want to do that again. It was worth the lesson. Yes, yes, it was worth the lesson. My mom said, Susan, that is so true. And so many times we don't even know ourselves until things like that happen. Exactly, mom. Exactly, exactly. So, and the thing about it is, even when we learn like that, we can't beat ourselves up. So I'm always telling people, like, don't beat yourself up if you fall, if you fail. Y'all know my famous line is fail forward, which I got from a pastor in Roseville like years ago when I lived in Northern California. Fail forward as long as you are, moving the needle forward, as long as you're not falling backwards. So sometimes when we mess up or we fail, we tend to revert back to some of our old ways to be comforted. And I did that, a lot in my in my 30s, and even like my early 40s. It's like sometimes we go back when we feel like we have messed up and we like, man, I can't believe I did this again. When is anything going to change? When are things going to work out for me the way I think they should be working out? And then we will tend to like self-soothe or comfort with old habits or old behaviors that made us feel good in the moment. Then y'all, after we do that, now we like, damn, now we done added that to the pile of mess. So I don't just have the first failure now I got the old comforting failure too. Thank you, God, for deliverance. Um, yes. Oh, you needed to hear that today. Fail forward. Okay. Yes, you needed to hear that today. Well, I'm glad I didn't cancel then. See, so um, going back to that, and y'all know I get off on a tangent. So yes, even if you mess up, you guys, or you feel like you messed up, just ask the Lord to show you what you can learn from it, how you can grow from it. So one, you don't repeat it. Y'all know when I send out the end of the month emails to the tribe, that's why I always have us do that reflection. I think it's the third point, that I say, you know, no, the third point is talking about, oh yeah, I think it says something that we messed up, so we can acknowledge it and learn from it, but that we don't like, be hard on ourselves, because I think that's one of the things that the enemy uses to, bring shame. A lot of times we'll participate in things and then we don't want to tell, we don't want to share because we feel ashamed, or just like I said, how much money I spent, I felt embarrassed, but the transparency is what, gives us the freedom, to be able to say, yep, I did it. I'm owning it so that now I can learn a different way or a new way of doing it. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. God uses our failures to show us his love and provision for us. Exactly. Susan, you said at least I'm not going backwards. Right, right. Because that's what I'm saying. I have done that multiple times back in the day, like, just really reverted back. And even like I was saying these last couple weeks, how I just been really like in this battle of fatigue and emotions, and trying not to fall back into some of my old patterns of how I would handle things emotionally. So for me, it's more like it's not, well, behavior and emotion, I guess, is really tied together, because your emotions can sometimes cause you to behave in certain ways that are not productive for your life. So for me, even if mine is just like moping, or if I get irritable, because sometimes when things go a certain way and I start to feel overwhelmed, I get snappy and I get irritable. And that's a behavior that I have to keep in check, because what can then happen is now I'm, like, I'm not ruining relationships, but I'm causing like tension in my relationships, especially like with my husband, because I live with him every day. So if I'm walking around here, nothing even related to him, just my own personal stuff that I'm dealing with, and I'm like taking it out, like far as I'm snapping at him, I don't want to be bothered, and he ain't even doing nothing. And he probably like, what in the world is wrong with this girl? But he's been married to me long enough to know, like when I'm just in my own head and going through my own stuff, to just kind of like, okay, let me give her like 5 minutes so she can get her little self together. But 5 minutes is usually like a whole day. So we have to remember too, like everything that we do in our emotions and our actions, they are leaking out into, everyone around us and affecting those relationships around us, not just ourselves internally. Okay, and transparency takes the devil's fake power away. Yes, because the enemy is only going to have the power that we give him. I mean, that's just the truth. He is only going to have as much power as you give him. Yes, exposing self leaves the enemy with nothing to hold over you. The biggest lie to hide. Oh, the biggest lie is to hide. The devil is a lie. Yes, exactly. Even like I have been, okay, so anybody knows I really only work with and, deal with women because I feel like that is the ministry that God has given me is for the health and wellness and the walk with women. However, like I do have, like male friends who may, reach out from time to time or whatever. And there's a situation with one of my coworkers actually, and that is one of the biggest things that he's kind of dealing with right now is, you know, how do you be transparent? Like wanting to be like full on transparent in his marriage and his wife too, wanting to be full on transparent. Like they're wanting to really get to a point where e- even if I tell you the truth, are you still going to stay? Wow, you guys. If I tell you the truth, are you still going to stay? And that, I feel like that has to be as transparent in all of our relationships, not just marriage, friendships, parenting with your children, coworkers, your boss. If I have to be able to be my true self, and I don't mean that new phrase, living my truth, because I can only live God's truth. I can only live the Bible, biblical truth. I can't, if my truth don't align with God's truth, then it's a lie. But I'm saying I need to be able to express and be who I really am. I can't hide the person that I am because I'm afraid to lose your friendship, or I'm afraid to disappoint you, or I'm afraid you might divorce me. Like it must be some serious stuff because, if you feel like, oh, if I tell her this, is she gonna leave me? Or if I tell him this, is he gonna leave me? We gotta come clean, y'all. Because even like Susan said, if we don't, the enemy just holds it over your head for that much longer. We have to be able to be real, just to be real. And if somebody doesn't like it, it's one thing if you being real and ugly and rude and your real self was rude. That's great. Be your real self. But then you have to get to a point where you recognize that your real self is ugly and don't nobody want to be around all that and get to the root of why you're ugly the way you're ugly so that you can begin to start making changes to heal, because usually when we're ugly it's because of the hurt that we have inside of us that we haven't dealt with, and so that projects out in the ugly things that we do, the ugly things that we say. And if we're willing to, as painful as it is, because y'all know change is painful when it's painful even when it's good stuff. I want to lose weight, y'all, so bad, but it's painful. But when we're talking about emotional hurt, it's if you've been doing something or been a certain way 20, 30 years, of course it's going to be painful to change and become this new creature in Christ. For sure. It definitely is. Not gonna lie to you. And that's another thing why I hate when people be like, oh, when you come to the Lord, your life gonna be awesome. Eventually it is. Eventually it is. But killing that flesh is not gonna be awesome. Never, never. Okay. So y'all, I think that's really oh my, I am being convicted because I avoid being brutally honest, and transparent at times. Yes. And but the being brutally honest, depending on the situation, right? We can be brutally honest in a loving way. Like, we don't have to be mean, but yes, we got to be honest. Even like with other people, like if we just keep like pampering people and telling them what they want to hear, it's not good for them anyway. If we want to be healed and whole, we should want everybody else to be healed and whole too. So if we are like pampering people and not being fully honest with them, we're not helping them anyway. We're only giving them a disservice. And if people like leave your circle because they can't deal with the honesty, then that's okay. You got to be okay with that because a lot of times it usually does come full circle if it's real friendships. And then sometimes, as we always say, certain friendships, certain relationships are really seasonal. Like I have so many relationships that were seasonal that didn't end bad or anything like that. You just kind of drift because your lives are going in different directions, or someone one moves, and you might stay in touch maybe once or twice a year. You guys catch up, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like some people get offended when their friendships end just because life happens. If it didn't end on a bad note, like I have a friend, like, so since we moved to North Carolina, I always say, like, I haven't made any like really true connections. And I think you make your real connections like, teens, 20s, but I have a girlfriend, that was younger than me actually. And like closest thing I had to the kind of friendships I had when I lived on the West Coast. And she moved to Charlotte, and we would like meet halfway, have lunch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We still talk, text, whatever. Then she moved to Atlanta. And so we don't talk and text as much. I mean, I still love her. Like, if I needed her, I know I could reach out, vice versa. We, text here and there, but definitely our friendship has changed because we're not, we can't just be like, oh girl, you wanna go grab something to eat? Oh girl, come ride with me right quick. Oh, do you wanna, go do this, whatever? But I was sad a little bit when she moved because she's one of my like true connections. And then there's a couple that we have here that we're close to, but I can honestly say I don't have the type of girlfriend friendships here that I developed when I was in my 20s and 30s, like women who I've known for years who have, walked my life with me from like age 15 plus. And will I ever have those type of connections here? I don't know. I would like to, have at least one or two good, like, but I don't know. And I'm okay with that. And we have to be okay with every season of our life that God has us in. And knowing that He is really our ultimate connection. If you connected to the Father, you got the ultimate connection. And everything else you get is just a bonus. Any other relationships you get outside the Father, they're bonuses. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay, even when people don't want the truth, we must live through. I lost it. Mm. Oh, we must live through the criticism that comes with it. Yes, and sometimes truth comes off as criticism, right? But it's not always criticism. It's just truth. It's just that we think somebody is being critical of us, or we think somebody is judging us because it's not what we really want to hear. You know, I have always been known for being very blunt, getting right to the point. I don't hold back, but I really had to learn over time that that is not always the best approach just because it was my approach, because I just don't like to play games. I don't like foolishness. Anybody who knows me knows I just can't. And especially at 50, are you kidding me? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But I have to also ask the Holy Spirit to help me present things in a way that is not going to do more damage than good. I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feelings or make them feel bad about themselves, even if I'm telling the truth, because then they're not going to receive it anyway. So I ask the Lord, help me the times that I need to be a little softer with my approach. Let me know when those times are so that what I'm saying can be received in love, even if they mad. They'll know that I'm saying it not because I'm judgy or critical, but because I love you. I love you and I want the best for you. Oh yes. Okay, you got that straight from me. Straight up no chaser. Yes, my mother can be a little. Okay, ladies. Y'all was in these comments today, huh? Oh, I missed this comment. That's the beauty I love about God. He just wants us to see the things that need to change. It is no effect when someone just tells us. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you guys got in the comments today, even though none of y'all was talking about them conferences y'all went to and left. Like even okay, so even with my book, for instance, like I'm really thinking about, y'all know I'll just be doing it all. I'm really thinking about rereading my own book. Not the novels, but my first book that I call what a personal development book. Personal development. Because y'all know I hate the term self-help. I don't like that term self-help because you can't help yourself. But I really, because even since I wrote that book, I think I started that book two years ago. I released it what, a year and a half ago. But I've grown in my walk and my perspective in the way that I see things, even in that realm. So I want to go back and reread my own book and make sure that everything that I said in my book is aligning with biblical truth. I want to make sure that it's not heavy on the opinion side, and that the things that I said in the book really do, which I mean, I feel like they probably do, but I want to make sure. I want to, so I said to myself, like over the last 2 months, I've been kind of mulling this over, like, okay, go back, read your own book and make sure that it doesn't come off as like self help, that it really does lean into the fact that, yes, we have a responsibility to change. We have to put our foot first to say, okay, Lord, I need the help. But then I have to make sure that the direction that I'm pointing people in is, yes, you are responsible, but then at the end of the day, are the things and the principles that I'm telling you in alignment with what God is saying for your life? So I might, we'll see. We're gonna see how that goes, y'all. Because I want to be responsible. I don't care, like how much time I put into it, how much money, how much effort. If it's not in alignment with the Lord, then what's the point anyway? So that's just where I'm getting to in my life. Like everything has got to be purposeful in this journey with Christ for me. That's just me. That's just me. So all right, so that's it, y'all. We did good on timing. It's only been 40 minutes. So if anybody has anything they want to uh-oh. Uh-huh. Susan said, if if not aligned, what a great book to show the growth. Did you read it, Susan? Is it aligned? That's the question. I know. Oh, I know you started reading it because you had started a book club. I don't think y'all finished though. I will remind you to do that. Putting it, what you putting on your calendar? What you gonna remind me to do? To go to read the book and go through it again. This was a thank you for getting on, Dr. Lolita. This is a great chat. Thanks. You are so welcome. I'm so glad you joined. Make sure you tell a girlfriend or two or three or four who you think would want to join this community. I told you it's just super laid back. Just this is it. Oh, to reread. You're gonna put it on your calendar. Got it. Okay. Okay. So ladies, that's it. Unless you guys have something you want to throw in the chat, any questions that you may have. You got like a minute or two to throw it in the chat. The very first book. What do you Susan, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The very first book. I don't know what you're saying. Trina, you haven't been on a chat in a minute. It's so good to see you. Great chat. Thank you for showing up this. No, thank you for showing up. I love Trina. She won, like that's what I'm talking about. Every time she get on, because she don't get on every month, but when she get on, I'll just be so appreciative. She's one of my friends. I met her when I first moved to California. Met her in the 7th grade, Westlake Junior High. Those are the kind of friendships I'm talking about right there. And I don't talk to Trina all the time. I do not even talk to her all the time, but she is one of my ride or dies. Dez, you on too? Oh, agreed. Thanks for the chat. Dez on this morning. Y'all coming out today? Are you talking about going back through rereading your very first book, girl? No, no, I am not. I'm talking about rereading Unstoppable and making sure that's in alignment. Westlake Junior High, yeah, Westlake Junior High. Okay, so that's it, you guys. That is it. So I am gonna make. So this is the other thing, because Trina and Des haven't been on in a while, and I think y'all both on the email list, but I'm not sure. So as of last month, I stopped doing the chats private. I just stopped doing them private, sending out the link and doing all that stuff, because when I talked to a couple of the ladies who have been on kind of consistently. A couple of them aren't on today. We were discussing like just going live first Saturday every month. Just show whoever show up. No private links anymore because really the stuff we talk about is not anything they felt like they would be embarrassed for somebody to know publicly, and it's just our names. It ain't like you know what I'm saying. So just for Trina, this since you guys haven't been on, if you are ever in doubt, there's no more private links. Just first Saturday of every month, I'm on YouTube Live 10 a.m. Eastern. So 7 a.m. for y'all. Okay, y'all. So that's it. I'm not gonna prolong this. Let me see y'all if I can do this. Did y'all like that? Yeah, they all still on here. Y'all don't. I have to figure out a good way to end the chat, y'all. Pray for my mom. Oh, your mom's in the hospital? Oh, I'm glad I clicked back in. Okay, yes. I'll call you after this. I'm gonna call you after this. All right. Love you guys. See y'all next month. Yes, Trina, you can share the link. Anybody who wants to get on, they could just hop on live on my YouTube channel first Saturday every month for sure. Have a good weekend. You too, Des. Love you, girl. All right. I'm ending it for real this time, y'all. Love y'all. I'm trying to end it. Trying to end it correctly.